What's up, everybody? Happy hump day. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are around the world. And soon we will get this show going. What's up, Weenie? What's up, Gassa? What's up, Tony? Let's go ahead and get this started. What's up, fam bam? What's up, guys? Hopefully you guys are having a great week so far, as it's been quite interesting. If you haven't heard what happened as of late, there has been issues with the whole 9950 X3D2, but it's not really hardware issues. It's more so about outlets trying to receive the 9950 X3D2. Hopefully you guys are certainly excited to get to see this in person, as it seems that this has been a pretty hot commodity so far. A lot of people are certainly interested in it. A lot of people want to see this 9950 X3D2 to see if it's really worth the value that they currently set it at. So, another thing is that it also seems that G6 is also getting a bit more expensive than most people would like. So people are kind of a little bit off put about it. It seems that the prices keep going up because of the need. Fortunately, it seems that AI is in much need of much more AI hardware with hardware, so it's going to affect other outlets such as video cards. It's also going to affect the GPUs, especially the AMD 9060s, 9070s, even NVIDIA's RTX cards. But we'll see in due time to see if that's going to end up really affecting in the long run, as it seems that the pricing just continuously goes up and that there's going to be a shortage of CPUs. Apparently, there's going to be problems when it comes to getting supply. And I think that's one of the main reasons that I have to discuss on today's show about is the fact that I don't believe that it's not only just AMD not willing to give out some product samples. You have a lot of people out there that are looking to receive the samples. Just for example, Steve from Gamers Nexus, and quite a few other outlets are feeling the same way, that they weren't part of the request line, and only very few people received it, and they were unable to test it. But so far, from what I'm hearing, it's been receiving some mediocre reviews so far, but again, we'll see. We for sure will have one on its way. What's up, Jane? Let me see. Let me pull you up here, because I got my whole screen's a mess with this new fresh update that I got from OBS here. Let me pull this up. There we go. Hopefully that does it. There we go. And as I get the screen ready so I can share. There we go. What's up, Jacino? There we go. Perfect. Yes, you made it in time, Manellis. Yeah, we're just about to get this show on the road here. The chair has been great. You've been loving it, right? You gotta let me know what you think of it. Let me see. Let me stop this thing here. Seems I've been trying to push this out onto the stream onto TikTok, so I was testing it to see how well it would work. And TikTok's pretty horrible with sending streams out. So I'm gonna give this a shot one more time. This is kind of a test run for that. It's amazing. I almost almost fell asleep on the chair. Hey, that's a decent result. It's nice to have a chair that you can fall asleep in. Oh man, what kind of desk did you end up picking out? Thank you. Yeah, everybody out there, don't forget to hit the like, make sure to follow in, or make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. And let me go back here. I'm gonna go here. Let me shut that. I'm going to try something real quick, guys, and see what happens. So I'm going to try this again. I'm going to copy that. Sometimes it's so many steps just to get one thing going. All right, so let me take that off. There we go. Now I can try it. There we go. Now, hopefully that works. We'll see. I only seen the text. Would really be interested on the B650 in the metal build with the 9950X3D2. Yeah, that will 100% be really interesting. Oh, so you got the Magnus Pro. That's an awesome desk, by the way. My desk is the IKEA. Hey, there's nothing wrong with it. It still works. It works great. I only see text in 1080p. Oh, man. Hey, at least it's clear. It comes in nice and clear. It's a lot better than not seeing any text or seeing it in. You know what's even worse when you receive text in even worse quality. Let me see. Forget this. Forget TikTok for now. So instead, I'll just stream the other side over to our wonderful YouTube side. So everybody, what is your thoughts of the 9950X3D2? Is it something that you guys are certainly excited for to see in action? Or do you feel like it's something that is really unnecessary? Especially because some may feel it's not really useful for things such as gaming. AMD did advertise this more for for those who are looking for more of like a workstation type of PC where you can also game, you can stream. You feel it's way too expensive for what it is. I get that. I can 100% understand that. I'm sure a lot of people feel that same way. How many of you out there feel that same way? Do you feel that it's way too expensive? Surprisingly, it actually released a little bit cheaper than I thought. I thought it was going to end up releasing for $1,000, and but the good thing is they didn't choose to go that route. Can you imagine if they ended up trying to push it for like $1,000? Of course, the recommended retail for it was $899, and they actually kept it this time. So that was actually decent of them to actually a lot of for the retailers to actually keep it to that same exact pricing. So I'm gonna put this out. There we go, perfect, and I'll open that up. So I would like to see compared to other CPUs like head to head. I mean, I've only seen the 9950X. Oh, really? Only test in 1080p. I have to double check the one of the things I have to double check for sure is I'm going to have to check the motherboard, the AMD B850 motherboard. It's not out here. I gotta find it. But the B850 motherboard to see if it does have integrated HDMI or has some sort of display port. That way we can check the integrated graphics in the 9950X3D2. I know a lot of people are definitely interested in seeing something like that because, of course, you're going to want to know how powerful it is compared to, say, a 9800X3D or compared to a Intel 270 to a 270K plus. So the 9950X3D2 is a bad CPU, 25% more power consumption for 7% more gain in select apps. So 5 to 10 degrees Celsius higher temperatures, forcing them to go in lower turbo boost by 100 megahertz. So this CPU only makes the 270K more worthy of purchase. Makes sense. Because the biggest problem is when it comes to something like the 9950X3D2, is that because it has 2 cache in there, it also causes a delay compared to your standard X3D processors. Because at least the non-Vcache CCD can actually load up the multitasking features much easier. But I'm curious about the whole IPC, about the timing and everything with it as well. to see if it's improved any compared to their to its current line on Granite Ridge. So Tony says, I was considering getting one, but then I wound up going with the Intel. I think it's better overall and it was less expensive. Perfectly understandable. For anyone that wants to go Intel, I gotta say it was quite surprising. Hopefully you guys got to check out that whole video of D270K benchmarks. And I bet it probably impressed a few people out there. It's even impressed me. I gave it an excellent score for this CPU. Yes, victim of Intel. There you go. Hey, there's nothing wrong with Intel. Intel's great. A lot of people are thinking of switching over to Intel because of everything that has been going on with AMD. This is actually the first time I actually seen such a dynamic shift like this. So if I might upgrade a PC after 5 years, do you think it's worthy to grab a 265K or 270K or wait for Nova Lake? So I might pair it with. So Jamal, what type of games do you plan on playing on your PC that you plan on building here? So Amazon was over $900 now. Change. Yeah, that's the thing. It was over $1,000. So Waffle Skater says this thing is $900. What the F? Where's my puking emoji? Yeah, where is it, Waffle? I'm surprised you didn't throw it out here already. It is nasty pricing. I do want to share with you guys like how this whole controversy is taking. I don't know if you guys heard. Everyone that's just coming in. What's up, Z-Man? Everyone that's coming in, there has been a certain controversy. Some of you may have heard. Some of you may have not heard. That there was a few media outlets that were unable to obtain a 9950X3D2 from AMD. I myself have also attempted to reach out to AMD in order to try to get a sample for the 9950X3D2, and I was told that they do not have any samples available. So, and to my surprise, I'm not a huge influencer, but I mean, compared to a lot of the other guys out there that also weren't able to get their hands on there, like Steve from Gamers Nexus, and you even have Tech Power Up, which does various and very in-depth analysis of processors, also didn't even receive a sample. So I'm about to switch over to the screen in just a bit here. And so some people, of course, there's a controversy going on because of that. And here, let me switch over to my screen here, which is going to be based on over here on Twitter, aka X. And it was a retweet that I had made. Now, let me see. Let me go down just a little bit further down because I retweeted this yesterday here. So, as you see, I put here, I got denied a 9950X3D2 and review sample 2, and now I'm starting to wonder. So, what my point here was, what if it's not really because that we've been blacklisted from AMD, or it could just be that CPU shortage that is coming up? Just thinking ahead, because I'm not too sure if that could be the reason here. Some places only had 25. So, and that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that it's probably more or so that it's more of a CPU shortage. I think it's that this possibly could be an overreaction from everybody until we have more sufficient evidence. I get why a lot of people can be upset. AMD is pretty expensive at 1080p gaming. Yes, that is really expensive. It's focused more towards game development like Unreal Engine 5, Blender, and Unity, and software devs with some gaming like world games, such like Red Dead 2, and some newer titles. So, Chartart says eTechnics was also blacklisted as well, as he thinks. Now, I'll click into Tech Power Up because this is pretty interesting how he states it. You don't really see guys like this get like too emotional like this. And you see that he says, no Ryzen 9950X3D for Tech Power Up, Gamers Nexus, or Computer Base. So he just kind of throws AMD out there in the spotlight. So Tech Power Up was pretty pissed about it. I'm sure you guys follow Gamers Meld. Gamers Meld also had brought up the issue as well. He said that he was unable to obtain a let me go on his page. He was also unable to obtain a sample as well. Oh, wait. I have his account. I gotta find his account real quick, guys. Let me see. I know it's on here somewhere, guys. Bear with me. So AMD, so AMD wasn't really generous when it came to giving out the processors. But the funny thing is, guys, as you know, some of you probably have heard with the AMD 9800 X3D how it somehow surpasses the 9950 X3D too. They broke, I don't think why. Let me see. He's here somewhere. I know he's here. And for some reason, I can't find him. There he is. Gamer's Meld, I mean. He spaces it. So he also brought it up. And again, another great guy. Very honest guy. He's very cool. As he says, well, I can finally talk about the fact that AMD refused to send me a 9950 X3D2, and it looks like quite a few reviewers were unable to get a review units. So I guess AMD knows that this isn't a great release. So what do you guys feel about this? Do you feel that they are refusing to produce the 9950 X3D2 for a lot of us reviewers out here? Do they not want us to look over the 9950 X3D2 because they knew that this was going to be not that great of a CPU, that this was going to be pretty much expensive for most people out there to the point where they feel that it's not going to perform at that $1,000 range. So I'm going to throw that poll out there for you guys. So I'm curious to pick up what your guys' thoughts about this. Or is this more or so, which I also have brought up, that it has to be a bit more of the CPU shortage? Is this just more people just getting a little bit upset? And there is something I do have to bring up to you guys, which I am curious to pick everybody's brains about. Because this is actually going to be a bit interesting, I gotta bring up. And I would love to get everybody's input on this, especially because a lot of you certainly love to use YouTube, right? And which I'm going to ask here, do you think AMD held the 9950 X3D2 from reviewers? So it's gonna be a simple yes or no. Or so you can feel free to answer this. It's going to be just yes or no. Do you feel that AMD has held these CPUs from reviewers? If you voted yes, please put 1. If you vote no, please put 2. So Anellis feels like they have been holding back. Makes sense. So to add in a little bit to the wound, how would you guys take this? Now, when I did speak to AMD in that very same email, they said, sorry, we're unable to give you any samples for the 9950 X3D 2, but what we can do is we can also, are you still looking to get a sample for a 9800 X3D? So they had no problem with that, which I thought was a little bit odd, but they had problems giving out samples for the 9950 X3D 2. So let me know what you guys feel about that. So Anella says that they did send samples to reviewers, so the selection must have had taken place. Surprised they really Linus didn't get one. That's a shocker. I'm actually really surprised he didn't get one. Tony says I would wait for the Intel's big problem. It's that likely they're changing their chipset. If you buy a 270K, you might be stuck with it, unable to upgrade. That's true. But there is also a rumor that's going around with Intel's LGA 1700. Again, going back to the 12th to the 14th generation, which is Alder Lake, Raptor Lake, and also Raptor Lake Refresh. They are thinking of, again, this is rumor based, where they're thinking of bringing that platform back to life. So if they have no problem bringing back LGA 1700 again, should they have no problem also reviving the LGA 1851? So 2 is not for everybody. Yes. So 2, it's not for everybody. I get it. So they did, so nice. I'm on the 12th gen. There you go. See, there's always some sort of positive news, right? At least Intel is looking out for everybody out there. So if we look up the 9950X 3D2, you're going to see the top news. What you're going to see here is that you're going to see a lot of people. Here's an interesting one for WCF. They say that 9950X 3D2 dual edition flops and reviews. Yeah, you know, that's really hard to pick. You have 270K plus. That's only about roughly around $320 to $350 at the most. And then you have the 9950X 3D2 where it's $900 for most places where you can purchase it. So I don't think they will keep two platforms alive. That's a good point. But AMD's kind of doing it. Because if you guys did not hear, AMD is thinking of reviving the whole 5800X 3D. Not really reviving, but just creating a new box for it. The 10th anniversary edition of the 5800X 3D. But I feel that that's just like beating on a platform that's already out of date. So Intel hasn't been that guy cheaper though. You know, the funny thing is Intel used to be the value I mean, not Intel. AMD used to be the value product here. As you guys remember, and for those who have built PCs for some time now, knew that Intel was always the more premium and the more expensive product compared to AMD. AMD was actually more of the budget side. Like if you couldn't get a Intel, if you couldn't get an Intel processor, you would start to think about purchasing a AMD processor. But there were times where they actually went back and forth with each other where AMD exceeded over Intel, and then Intel kind of took the crown back, and then AMD almost dropped off the face of the planet, and then all of a sudden, just like that, they came back. So I don't think they will revive any old platforms. They want to keep up with the new stuff. It's different for Intel than AMD. Interesting. So Intel GPU only. So I'm sure it's more powerful, but it's not the problem with it. So it really depends on how often you build a new system. I go 8 to 10 years before I do. And when I build a whole new system, I get it. Mr. Rainbow, great to see you out there. Great to see you. AMD godlike, Intel godlike, the best. Oh, that reminds me, guys. I feel bad for my wonderful mobile guys here. Let me make sure I got you logged in there. And now you should be pretty much good. So far, it seems that most people out there feels that AMD held back the 9950X 3D2 from a lot of reviewers. Were they afraid of the reality of their processor? Or was this more of a processor where they threw out there saying, let's see how far people would be willing to spend for this technology? Because honestly, the technology isn't cheap. Wasabi, what's going on? Great to see you. Welcome in. Man, you got me hyped up about your white PC build. If you do this, man, it's going to be sick. So, yeah, price to performance. Or precise to might be affect Intel's image for a long time. Unreal, what's up? Great to see you. Awesome to see you. What's up, Vigardstein? Certainly appreciate you. Thank you for coming in from Norway. Now, a lot of you out there, I gotta ask, like, what do you feel about the 9950X 3D2? Do you feel a bit mixed? Now, I did go ahead and make the purchase of the 9950X 3D2 for your wonderful viewers out there. Of course, it was something I did not want to really spend on, but we got to do it. We got to run the test. We got to really see how well it does. And it was, again, the most voted poll, which I will show you guys in a bit here. Let me switch over to my screen here so I can show it to you guys. But we did a poll for Project Metal to see what type of processors should go into the ASRock B850 build. And the majority of everybody out there, certainly shocking by a shocking amount, I think this was more curiosity more than anything. I think most people were curious to see how far they would go. So we went ahead and put up the poll to see how many people would want to see this whole 9950X 3D2 in action. So only Chris knows my build. I don't. Yes, I get it. Like you don't have to rush doing the build. Takuma, Takuma is out of his mind. He wants me to buy a motherboard that costs. Hey man, if that's the case, Takuma needs to open up a bank, man. Because if he could do that, if he's recommending it, it's no longer going to be a firm anymore. It's going to be called Takuma. You're going to have to borrow from Takuma if you want to get it. That might be a good for CAD something, but if you like AMD CPUs, there's ones. Yes, I agree. I completely agree with you. Honestly, I'd much rather. I was trying to focus more on the budget build, but for Project Metal, people really wanted to see this in action. Ground Game, what's up? It's like the card for the high-end Threadripper gate for me. Yeah, some people really think that if you get a larger processor, the bigger the better, but it's not necessarily the case. And Threadripper is the perfect example. Like, it's not going to be the CPU you would want to use for gaming, even though you can get up to 64 cores and 128 threads. It sounds insane. You could power up 3 PCs practically just by a single PC. But even though you have all that power, it all goes to waste because you're not going to take full advantage of the Threadripper if you're just going to game on it. Threadripper can do so much more, and then it's not going to actually perform nearly as well like as the 270K, for example, the 270K Plus specifically, where you can purchase it for much cheaper for around $350. So it doesn't matter what CPU is chosen for the ASRock build. That's yeah, we're gonna see if that 9950X 3D2 will fry. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. I'm hoping it doesn't, but we will see. We will certainly see. Maybe they want to see this happen. So, as promised, 270K. We're going to find out. I'm actually going to run a bit more tests for the whole AMD 9800X3D, and I will compare it to the 270K Plus. To even out the test, I want to compare a similar GPU. So what I will do is I'm going to compare a 5070, the 5070 Ti, the same one. I will more than likely use that to compare both models to see how they bench against each other. But from what it seems like, more than likely, they're going to be very close neck and neck. 270K has been quite impressive. Again, especially for the value there. So let me bring this up, guys. So as requested, the AMD Ryzen 9950X 3D2 is on its way for Project Metal. So I'm not expecting this until I think it is until probably Friday. I'll probably get it Friday before I actually get the CPU. But once I get it, we can actually start building the PC and see how well it does perform. So, and with the stunning majority, as you can see, we got how much people went with the 9950X 3D2 compared to a 9850X. I meant to put X3D, but the 9850X 3D, or the Ryzen 9700X. And as you can see, the majority of the vote went to the 9950X 3D2. So I am considering going for the 9950X 3D2, but it still uses core parking as far as I'm aware. Was hoping it would not use core parking because that, yeah, that's really interesting that they still use core parking, because that completely almost completely dismisses the case that has dual V cache. So I wonder if there's a way you can disable I have to look at it to see if you can actually disable the core parking in it until guys choose. So I am trying to save for the white 5080 Astral. Appearing case is no more. I had to opt out for the Helios Strix 2 White. So, CAD software. Yes. Yes, I do know CAD software. What about it? I must have misread something of yours. I apologize for that. Yes. A lot of designers like to use CAD. It's already too much money to justify, let alone adding the Hyperion with the 50. I know, it's just expensive anymore these days. Skip my white one. Oh. You skipped his comment. So yeah, they're charging for parking now. So there's of course. Oh yeah, I can see that. AMD is now charging for the parking. That's why it's almost $900 to $1,000. AMD winning today. Wow. So gas out still going with that whole AMD side of things. And I'll throw out another poll in a bit. Yeah, motherboards have Core Flex. Uh, Canadian dollar. Can if they did, I think there would be a lot of people using it. I misread it. My fault. Canadian dollars. So we're gonna go microcenter.com to see if they have any of these 9950X3D2, and it looks like they already have some bundles available. So you do have some wonderful bundles for those who are interested in getting it. It's pretty insane because you look at this, it's $1,200 for this bundle. And you get it looks like let's go down to it. It's going to be all the way down here. The 9950X3D2, you got MSI's X870E Pro Wi-Fi AM5 motherboard here. So I was saying that the new AMD CPU might be good for CAD software. Oh, okay. That kind of workload, but there are better options in the AMD's line. I agree. Honestly, in my personal opinion, I feel that when it comes to AMD and certain software such as CAD, I feel like it's a bit better when it comes to, honestly, like Intel's really good when it comes to the whole multitasking ability, because a lot of design software such as CAD, or if you're using it for something like Adobe, Intel's a bit more optimized for it. But AMD does work great, especially if you go into the higher lines, such as like the AMD Threadrippers are awesome. You know that it's overpriced if they're gonna give you that motherboard and RAM for yeah, that is true. Like you think about it, that motherboard and that RAM is it's $1,200, and that CPU they're charging $900 alone. So you really think about it, it sounds like a great deal if you're getting all three of these. I wonder how many people actually went with this, but they got 25 or more in stock. Now, just in case, I did end up reserving it at Micro Center just in case to pick up the 9950X3D2 in store. But but I had the better deal with Newegg. Thanks to Newegg for making this possible, where we can get the 9950X3D for like a little bit better of a deal, so we can certainly see it in action in the ASRock B850 motherboard. So is the 270K the king or what for DDR5 at 300 MSRP? Very close performance at 9950X3D2. But yeah, some gaming performance differences, but the same multi-core. Okay, so if your question is, if I feel that the 270K is worth it over, say, like the 9950X3D2, and I'll tell you, more than likely, if you are a gamer, 100%, I can say that the 270K will be worth more than the 9950X3D2. Now, you would assume that this is built for gaming because of the dual V-cache, but it's going to have a delay, like when it comes to multitasking, which we're going to see inside of this motherboard, which is going to be, again, the B850 ASRock Wi-Fi 7. So I don't get why ASUS Z890 that I chose does not have the numbers mini boards that tell you the. Oh, it doesn't. You don't get the really. You don't get the error codes. That you can't see the error codes on it. So building a PC, yeah. Well, it's not the Steel Legend. This is going to be the Wi-Fi 7 B850 motherboard here. So it's but if you're going for it, the Steel Legend, more than likely it's okay. But just know, if you do get the Steel Legend, just make sure to upgrade the software. I mean, not software. Make sure to upgrade the BIOS. It's very important to upgrade your BIOS firmware. So, yeah, there's about 2 or 3 AMD CPUs that can beat out the 270K Plus, but the 270 is great for CPU for price to performance. I agree. Again, you can get it for around $300. It's really hard to beat. So realistically, do you think RAM and M.2 prices are going to come down in the next year or so. I feel like they're going to say the same. So that's a great question, TW. Now I can say, more than likely, I think it's pretty much in the stagnation mode right now. I think the prices will adjust somewhat. I think it will go down, but I don't think we're ever going to see the prices that we saw in say 2025 of September. We will not see those prices again. We're into the new norm to where if we see 32 gigabytes down to 32 gigabytes of say 6,000 megahertz of CL30, more than likely we'll probably see it get as low as maybe $300, maybe at the most, and that's it. I don't think it'll drop any lower than that. Maybe it will, but I don't think we're ever going to see it for $90 to $100 like we used to, unfortunately. So why are AMD bundles with Corsair RAM, but Intel bundles are still crucial? I know it's a bit weird. I think they must know that they are probably getting a much better deal out of the CPUs for AMD. I'm assuming for them to do this. But it's good that they're offering the Corsair RAM kits now compared to just only having Microns. Instead of just having Micron's Crucial and G-Skill, which was all you saw for a little while. Let me see this. There we go. I like both your Fashion Bros. So should I buy these 7900X or the 9700X? Over the Ryzen 7 7800X 3D for overall performance, it's cheaper and almost and yes, if you were to get these 70, okay, so you're looking for performance, more of a performance jump. You're looking for more cores because that's what the 7900X would offer. Just, I believe, 2 more cores on that. But if you are looking for more better gaming performance, it's better to go 7800X 3D. Now, if you feel like you don't want to spend the extra $100, then I wouldn't spend the extra $100. Either way, you will 100% more than enjoy the power of this 7900X. Should I go for a gaming overclock 5070 build? 70% gaming and 30% more. Hey, go for it. I'd say go for it. So now you're choosing between the 9700X or over the 7800X 3D for the RTX 5070. Now, what I would do is I would go 9700X or go 7900X and then go for it, the 5070 Ti. That's what I would go if I were you. That's what I would choose. So I think Woot was selling the 7900X for $200. Oh, really? See, I would have much rather went for the 7900X than over something like the 9950X 3D too, if I could. So there's I was responding no to it. No need for a little bit of hostility, guess out. But we're just talking on an even playing field. We look at everything even. There should be no favorites when it comes to hardware. Just think about just as what everybody mentioned when it comes to whether if it's AMD, whether if it's Intel, it's not good to have loyalty. Either if it's with Nvidia or even if it's with just any company out there that you can think of, where whoever produces the best product is the one you should go with because you deserve the best. That's how you have to think of it. Don't just choose a product because of its name. Choose a product because it's actually decent. So that's the biggest thing I can say when it comes to hardware. But of course you do have the trendy people, and of course when you go trendy, you have to go Nvidia. Right? So O's Guro says, "Hey man, in Italy 5060 Ti. Shout out to Wasabi out there." Then both 9060 XT 8 gigabytes and 16 gigabytes. Should I go with it instead of AMD's counterparts? Because I am planning on streaming. Okay, so if you are planning on streaming and you want to, what I would choose is AMD is also pretty decent when it comes to streaming, but it will struggle a bit if you are going with the 9060 XT. The encoders are great in both of them. Now, honestly, I would say go. It's better to have a bit more VRAM. The 5060 Ti will, they're both very limited when it comes to GPU power. Are you streaming in 1080? Most people stream at 1080, so you're probably pretty good. So, just like what Gasout says, I would say if I could choose between the two, I would go 5060 Ti. 9060 is just a little bit too light. So RAM is coming down. RAM is coming down in pricing. The problem is it's not the RAM. It's more so the problem when it comes to NVMe's and when it comes to GPUs. And now, pretty soon, they're saying that there is a CPU shortage. But from what it seems like currently the supply is pretty decent on that end. If we take a look over here and we take a look onto, say, we look up the 9800 X3D2, this is how we'll know. Let's see how many they actually have at Micro Center. Now, Micro Center, it says they got more than. Oh, wait, that's not it. I was going to say there's more than 25 in stock for a 9800 X3D. Oh, man, they must have. That's pretty insane, actually. I know they had a ton. Unless they just updated their inventory, which they more than likely did. Okay, here we go. So they do have it, and it's right here. Now, for those who are curious about the 9950 X3D 2, it is available at Micro Center. You can pick it up for $900. If you're in Miami, you can pick one up right now if you want to. I also have the link available if you guys are interested in getting the 9950 X3D 2 for some odd reason if you're in a hurry to get it. But I highly recommend waiting for this PC build to see how it turns out. And I will let you guys know how well this CPU does perform. I highly doubt anyone's going to take full advantage of this unless you're going to be really using it in something that is very heavy into content. Otherwise, you're not going to be really taking full advantage of this. You have to be really heavy into like designing or graphic designing. Check the Intel Ultra 7 270K Plus. I did not see in the Cincinnati store. Okay, sure. Let's see. I think that's more of a problem, I feel, when it comes to Intel. It seems that they've been having trouble keeping up supply for the 270K Plus. Okay, so they have it. They have the price listed, but it says sold out. For the 270K Plus, they do have it, but it's listed at $329.99. So, but again, they just have problems restocking it. And now, in order to score this, I believe Amazon, you probably get a good chance of getting it. Newegg would be decent. So, I would go Threadripper if I'm going heavy workloads. I agree. Like, if you had to choose between the two, you might as well just spend a little bit of extra money and go Threadripper if you're going to spend that much on a CPU. I mean, you take a look at, say, we could look at a bundle right now, and we could look at a Threadripper bundle, and you probably could get one pretty much close to that price range, which is, they're going to be down here. Now, you can get one, they have one for $4,799. Now, this is for the 7960X. What? That's not I don't like that deal at all. Let me see. So this one's 5,000. This is the Arrow D, which is gigabytes motherboard with the Pro 128 gigabytes of ECC error correcting memory. And this is the 9960X. There was one that we looked at, which was something like this one here, where it's $6,000. It's insane pricing. Yes, it's a very insane pricing. I would love to do a Threadripper build, don't get me wrong, but unfortunately, it's not in the budget so far, not as now. As you can see how expensive it is. As we're working on another build. Is this too high? It seems like it's, but honestly, for the CPU itself, it's probably going to cost a bit closer to the $2,000 range. Yeah, it's a bit expensive. Let me see. So for this CPU, for this build, let's take a look. This is the exact one actually I would want to touch here. It's $2,300 for the CPU here. So $2,300 plus the RAM kit that you would get, 128 gigabytes of RAM, and then plus the motherboard. But honestly, I don't think anyone would want to max out like unless you're going to do something work heavy and workstation related. Like if you want to use it as a say network attached system with this Threadripper as well, this would be awesome to use. Obviously,
subscribe to the channel.
thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. So Destiny, what's going on? So everything that's going on with the whole 9950X3D controversy, everyone that is curious about it, a lot of review outlets um, are not really receiving samples for the 9950X3D 2. Now, Gamers Nexus, which is Steve, he has not been able to receive a sample. Linus, from what I've heard, didn't even receive one, which is pretty wild. What's up, Leland? Great to see you. Apparently he didn't receive one. It seems that quite a few review outlets, even Tech Power Up, they didn't receive it. Me personally, I did reach out to AMD as well. And they said that they did not have any available for review samples. Yes, AM5 is a great platform to go with. Either one's great. AM5 is an awesome platform to go with. But of course, you don't need to spend 9950 X3D2 money to enjoy it. If you are planning on gaming and planning to use it for your typical productivity, more of your typical stuff, not more of graphic design stuff, which we can get to in a little bit, assuming that you're using it for gaming. I would say it's a great platform to use. A 9800 X3D you can get for great deals currently. That's what I felt too. But take a look at this. I thought the same thing. But when I look at the 9950 X3D 2, I've been keeping an eye on it, right? Because I was really curious to see if that was the case. So I'm thinking, is it more of a shortage supply? Is it that they don't want to give out samples because they don't have enough 9950 X3D2s? Oh, not X3D, but X3D2. Or was this something that AMD was kind of testing, kind of throwing it in the public out there just to see how well it would actually end up doing, how well it would sell? So Weenie says some people don't have unlimited money to build a PC. Matter of fact, I'd say 90% are on a budget, but you do you. I agree. I think most people are. For emulation, it would be pretty decent, actually. I think emulation, it might be pretty good. But other than that, if you're not trying to do something, for most people out there, they're not going to take full advantage of this processor, unfortunately. Even though it seems like it was a great idea for processors to have dual V cache, because then there would be no latency at all. You wouldn't have to worry about core parking. Apparently, that's still an issue, from what I've just heard. When it comes to this CPU, if you're gaming, there's better AMD CPUs. Agreed. So, like, again, you can get like a 9800 X3D, literally half the cost. Half of this. You could buy two 9800 X3Ds. You should be able to, for the cost of this processor here. And I mean, take a look at this 9800 X3D. You can get it for $440. Usually you can get it on sale for about $440. I mean, $400. So if you're lucky enough to be able to scoop one up, and Newegg's another great place to go. In fact, let's go on Newegg and take a look at their pricing for it. Now, for those who are looking for a 9950 X3D2, I have the link. If you guys are interested in getting it on Newegg, let's look up 9800 X3D for the 9950 X3D2. That way you're not forced to purchase a bundle. Okay, so Newegg has it for $464, so it's a little bit more on here. So, for government as well, right? Threadripper is for AI workloads that uses a lot of bandwidth for 3D work like Maya, Houdini, Blender. 9950 X3D is better for choice for gaming. I'd buy yes. Well said. Very well said. Everybody here out analysis. Also chance my life for. Thank you. I'm sure everybody certainly does appreciate it. T-Don says memory for Threadripper if purchase alone is 46. I bet. I mean, 128 gigabytes is a lot. As you guys seen, we went into Micro Center itself, and there was two 120. It was two 128 gigabyte sticks of memory, and it was priced over $4,000. So that's what's actually costing more. It actually costs more to get that memory instead of getting the Threadripper itself, which is that CPU, and plus the actual motherboard. So it's going to actually cost you more than those two. It's going to be more expensive than your GPU, even if you went to go purchase a RTX 5090, which doesn't make any sense at all. So you get 128 gigabytes of RAM. And look, you're at $3,000 right off the gate here. And that's for two 64 gigabyte sticks here. So it's still expensive in that sense. Like if you choose for high capacity memory, we're 6,000 mega transfers get Threadripper. What's your prediction about? So okay, so to just go over the RAM pricing, like everybody that is curious about the RAM pricing, I can say that it will end up getting cheaper. It will. It's going to happen. But do not expect it to get to the levels of where it was back in September 2025. Unfortunately, RAM is probably going to be at the lowest. And it's going to be the same example I gave a little bit earlier. Like 32 gigabytes of, say, 6,000 mega transfers of CL30. You probably could purchase it as low as $299. And that's probably the cheapest you're probably going to see it. Unfortunately, we're never going to ever see that that price again back of September 2025, where you can originally purchase it for as low as $110. But that's the unfortunate reality. Of course, that's something I also want to bring up too, is about the CPU problems that they are currently having, or so to claim. Now, let's see if Newegg has the 270K, because that would actually kind of bring into the point too. So TW says that's crazy. I paid less than $400 for Samsung's 256 gigabyte CDR4 EC. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the insane part. And if you don't mind sharing, how much did you end up spending for that, for your 256 gigabyte kit? So it does look like Newegg does have the 270K plus. They do have it available. So if you guys are looking for it, they do actually have it. So again, great CPU if you want to go that route, if you want to go Intel. Now, if you want to go with AMD, another great way to go. Now, here's the thing. Just to let you guys know, and to just even out the playing field just a bit for everyone who is torn between the two. If you're torn between getting Intel Core Ultra 7 270K plus and a AMD Ryzen 5 9800X3D, if you're torn between those two, the biggest thing I can tell you is yes, the AMD processor is going to be a bit more expensive. It's going to be roughly about $110, $120 more, give or take. But the thing is, you do have the extra Vcache when it comes to the X3D processors. Now, because of that, it is going to be a bit more expensive, and that's why you're paying a little bit more capital for that. Also, this is a very important factor to add, especially for those who are thinking of the Intel route. And to get really decent and the best speeds out of your processor and take full advantage of it, it's best to try to get the fastest, one of the fastest memory that you can get out there, up to like 8,000 mega transfers with low latency. But of course, that comes at a cost, and that's why one of the reasons why Intel can be cheaper. But there's also nothing wrong, which we proved in the benchmark videos. If you had RAM that was, say, 32 gigabytes of CL38, still ran games perfectly fine. There was no issues. You might not get those overclocking numbers that you might be trying to break if that is what you're trying to achieve. So those two are what make the innate differences here. So the AMD, what AMD CPU is 300 exactly. And that's the thing. You won't find an AMD CPU for that low unless you go for just the regular 9600X, which is not going to have 3D V cache. It's just a standard CPU, but also a great one, a great choice. If you're on a budget, you're strong onto AMD side. 9600X is a great choice. 9700X is a great choice. But if you want to try to get like almost like that same performance for a great deal, it's hard to beat the 270K plus too. AM6 be nice for real. And you know, one of the crazy rumors that has been going around right now is that MSI has pretty much their BIOS set. They're ready. And they're 100% ready for Zen 6 to be released. And when exactly when Zen 6 would get released, more than likely we're not going to see the light of day for Zen 6 until like beginning of next year. And we'll probably get indications. We'll get some showcasing by November, more than likely, of Zen 6. And I think that would definitely be the better one to wait for if those who are already on AM5 waiting for the next upgrade. The 9950X3D2, it's hard to say. I will be certainly testing it. I will be seeing if how the IPC is going to be. I'm going to see exactly how well how the core parking is, if it's truly resolved. I was hoping that AMD would resolve a lot of these different issues that they had. For example, it was known for Battlefield 6, especially for X3D processors, to do that. There was times where I had to try to figure out with the core parking, it would end up parking the wrong cores. It would end up parking the V cache instead of the actual non V cache. But there was a way around it. I can't remember exactly from the tip of my head, like exactly what I did. I used a program, of course, I think it was a lasso. I used a lasso, it's called, in order for me to manually enable it and force it in order for the Vcache to enable. And then ever since then, it's just been locked onto the Vcache instead of using a non Vcache. So each chip is only about 2% better. And the thing is, when it comes to upgrading, that can be true. It can be true when there is so much more of a difference between the generations. Now, what I'm really curious about too is the whole 9950X, which is their standard, which actually has just the regular Vcache on one side and it has the non Vcache, and then you have the new one, which is going to be the X3D2, where it has dual Vcache. And this is definitely going to be a very interesting battle between the two, and really curious to see how it's going to end up turning out. But for those who are looking to build a PC, feel free to ask. I'm sure there's a lot of questions out there. And for those who are curious about the whole 9950X3D2 controversy, the inside, or not, it's not so secret. You can easily see it if you go into places like onto X or onto Twitter, or you go into YouTube posts. You will see other creators out there. Egyptian Savage, what's up? What's going on? Great to see you. I'm glad you're in here. What's your thoughts about the 9950X3D2? I gotta say. But for those who are curious about it, there has been a rumor in the industry where they've been refusing to hand out samples because of either limited supply, or it could just be that they knew that this chip was not going to go the way that they thought. They did not want their chip to end up getting slammed after the production. In my opinion, it's a that is absolutely correct, Egyptian. That's the way to do it. It's absolutely just a CPU. So, for those who are trying to get a upgrade to a GPU, now speaking of GPUs, 9070XT is a great option to go. I can't glaze it enough as it is. The 9070XT is a great choice if you do not have NVIDIA money, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's expensive. It really is. Everything is super expensive. I even was hesitating on purchasing the 9950X3D2, but I had to do it for the sake of everybody out there because I know you guys are more curious about this CPU. So the 9900X versus the 270K Plus, same price. There you go. That's a great comparison. That would be the way to do it. So Gasout says, I also had the 9800. I took it back for this new chip, so it was a great choice. So which so you went with the, so please share your CPU that you have that you enjoy now. So I think it's priced per performance, and that's why they did not send them. You think that's the reason? You think it's because of the pricing? But then again, it's like, it's hard to say, because if you request a sample for, say, a GPU, AMD will work its way on trying to get you a GPU. So if, but for them, for this CPU specifically, they had a problem. And this wasn't just, again, not, you're not talking about like channels like mine, like where it's not that, it's not large, it's not a huge following, but you're talking about guys like Steve from Gamers Nexus, and you have even Linus on the line. Gamers Meld wasn't even able to receive one. We don't know, but they seem to be, you know, the thing is, sometimes, personally, sometimes I don't mean to, kind of, I don't mean to, what's the right word for it? Uh, I don't mean to rant on this, but the whole thing is, like, when you reach out to, when you reach out to them, when you reach out to any of these outlets and they don't respond, that is the most, it's irritating, because you're trying to get your job done. And sometimes when you try to reach out to them and they don't do the job that they perform, it really can affect, it has this whole domino effect. And it affects not only us, but it obviously affects everybody out there who enjoys the channel, because they want to see these products, they want to see these in action. So when you reach out to AMD or reach out to any other company, and they don't really follow up like they should, or really are responsive, I get that they can be busy. 100% get it. There's hundreds, and not, if not thousands of us now, of creators out there that they have to deal with in order to try to work with the logistics in order to send out CPUs, GPUs, or whatever hardware that we need. But if you send, by the time you send the fourth email, you should expect some sort of reply. So that's all I gotta say. And I'm pretty sure they feel a bit frustrated, for, especially for a lot of these guys that are used to just receiving the sample. Instead, they even reached out to AMD, and they just told them, like, hey, we don't have these samples, so we're sorry, we can't send them to you. So we'll have to wait and see. Absolutely. So, but if it's good, CSGO at 1000 FPS on your side, that sounds right. So, yes. Remember I told you that I was meeting as, oh, yeah, yeah. How'd that turn out? LTC, okay, so, oh, really? Managed to get the first look at the CPU earlier today. They uploaded the video on it. They're very specific for scenarios it's useful for, but for the most part, it's a waste of money, basically. I thought so. I thought so. I honestly, I honestly didn't even want to go with this route, but for the sake of, for the sake of seeing how well it performs compared to other CPUs, we'll do it. It's just a bit weird. All of them talk about its release, who it's released to, maybe trying to distract us from the price. Yeah, and that's what kind of throws me off here. It's like, it's very, the selection is very odd. Like, some of the people I can respect. Like, I know Scatterbench, respect him a lot. He's a guy I could see getting it. I can understand why. But then some other ones, you're like, that just doesn't make any sense. And some say that, specifically, like, in, now, I'm not going to throw out the big guys out there, but I don't want to throw anyone under the bus. But some claim that they received not only the sample, but also a guide to follow for review. So for people to get the sample, like the 9950 XTRA-D2, and follow the guide word by word, is obviously not going to be any good, because then you're not getting the real truth behind that CPU. So Egyptian says, on the 6th of May, I'll be rewarded, and there will be a big parties, because I said I would be able to make a game in 1 month with AAA graphics alone. Oh, that's awesome. Hopefully you have fun with it. Sounds like a great time. Congratulations on that win. Oh, yeah? That's impressive. Super impressive. Yeah, keep it going. You're going to the right places. Keep it going, Egyptian. So, but yeah, as I mentioned here, like when it comes to CPUs or when it comes to any type of PC hardware, um, everybody deserves to know the truth of hardware. You want to know, you don't want to spend something like this. Let me go back on it just to remind you guys how expensive this combo is. And let's go back on it. And it's very unusual. Waffle Skater brought up a great point. If it's $1,200, that just shows you um, how it doesn't make sense for a CPU to cost so much money. But anyway, to be able to get you get 6,000 megahertz. Probably, I'm assuming maybe CL36. It has to be. There's no way they give you CL30. Yeah, CL36. So they give you this motherboard, which is going to be the MSI 870, the 870E Pro. And now it's not their top line motherboard out there. Of course, it's not. But again, it's overall a motherboard. It's still going to cost around over the $200 range. The RAM itself is also going to be very expensive. You're talking about around 360. Don't ask me why, but for some weird reason, CL30 and CL36 are the same exact price for 6,000 megahertz of RAM, but around $360. So those two alone is going to cost you about roughly about almost $800. Not $800, more like $700, like $730 about. And then if you add in the processor itself, which is again allegedly $900. So we've been over this. CL36 is the new CL30. It's no good to me. I don't see the wrong number. What's that? What's that, gas out? So like I said, man, it just doesn't make any sense. Technically, this bundle, if you were to pick each individual component, it will run you closer to the $1,600 range, $1,700 range, and then plus you got to pay tax on it. But with this bundle, you're going to spend $1,200. So yes, it sounds like one hell of a deal. Sounds like a great deal. Sounds like a deal that everybody should take, right? But is it worth it? Is the value really there to say that, yes, I'm happy? This was $1,200 well spent. How many people out there are going to say that? This was $1,200 well spent that I bought a 9950 X3D2. But yet, you're going to see not too many reviews like this. You're not going to see too many stars just quite yet because you have very little reports about when it comes to something like this. When it comes to the 9950 X3D2, and it's almost like they're betting on the anticipation of this CPU, the hype behind it, of having dual V-cache, to where you can just go and immediately purchase it, don't worry about the reviews, and just say, because it's AMD, I trust the product. I trust it's going to be good. I'm going to buy it because I know it's going to perform. But if you found out that you actually purchased a CPU for $900 and it did not perform just as well, say you did a large upgrade, you upgraded from a 7800 X3D on your motherboard, and you said, you know what, maybe this is worth it. Maybe this is going to be worth my money because I want the best of the best. So you decide to get one of the better processors. So you end up purchasing the 9950 X3D2, and then it does not perform to your expectations. Would you be truly disappointed into AMD for not allowing these review outlets to review the CPU? Or would you honestly blame yourself for that, for purchasing the CPU, for not waiting for a proper review of the product? So what do you guys think of that? Do you feel that this is more for those who are just assuming the brand? They're assuming the name that AMD is the one to purchase. So Gasout says, with CL36 with 6000 with RAM board with high-end CPUs, I'm not mad, better than a 9800. We will see. Soon we will. I'm assuming 9800 X3D. So can you explain how the core count works between Intel and AMD? Intel's core count is weird with the B cores and E cores. AMD, you can double the core count to just get to the threads. Okay, so the way it works now Intel changed the game a little bit when it comes to this, which they pretty much got rid of again, hyper-threading and SMTs, which is what AMD still uses. Now, Intel actually used this before. In fact, even back in Alder Lake, when you go back to Raptor Lake, they still actually use that. So, uh, but when it comes to P cores and E cores, they're using something more of what's called physical cores. So it's actually using the actual cores that are on the processor, which means that there is no latency. So when you are gaming and you're doing other tasks, that is the true core power out of it. Now, when it comes to efficiency cores are actually pretty even uh, uh, what's the word for it? Besides the naming, it sounds like it's meant to save energy, which it is. It technically is helps saves energy, but it also is to make your PC move a bit more efficiently when you are multitasking. Now, P cores are also great. Again, this is more for your performance side. It's always going to have less performance cores than efficiency cores because it's meant for more efficiency. So, but when it comes to AMD, the way the core counts work on them, they both have, again, it's like hyper threading. So they have the physical cores in them. They have, say, we'll use the 9950 X3D, for example, which it has 24 cores and up to 32 threads. So even though it has all those physical cores, it's only really using 24, and then it splits the power into using the threads. But because of that, Intel doesn't use it because it has that latency. Intel has a certain advantage because the processor is a bit different in technology because it uses different IPC, different instructions that it can use, and again, why they have Vcache when it comes to it too. So when it comes to the Vcache, it doesn't really rely onto the RAM side like Intel processors do because Intel will have less cache in them, and because of that, that's why you are required to use faster memory in order to kind of go have that temporary memory for the processor to store versus a AMD processor where you won't need as much because you have such a large cache in it. So hopefully that explains it a bit more on there. So we sound like PlayStation. Oh, you know what's crazy? Speaking of which, when it comes to that, is that when it comes to Microsoft now, that they aren't going to let, and this is the current rumor here, is that they are going to have ASUS, they're going to have MSI work on their next Project Helix. So that means that there's no more dedicated GPU as there used to be, or it's now throw in an 85090. Yeah, I'd I'd expect $900 CPUs to be better than 400 to 600. Yeah. I mean, that's the most common sense part. You would think it would be better, but you're paying for more of the Vcache. That's all you're paying for. You're paying for the technology, but it's just not performing in that technology. Instead, you're better off buying two 9800 X3Ds. Wouldn't that be pretty dope to actually get a motherboard where you can have almost like the old Intel Xeon boards? Remember that? Like where you can actually buy two processors and actually use them for workloads. At least that makes somewhat sense. And for today's era, maybe there's a way to do that. We'll probably eventually hit that in retrospect, right? But we'll see in time if that's the case. But yeah, speaking of which, Project Helix, they're thinking of just letting ASUS MSI coming out with like a PC like console similar to the Steam machine. And if they do this, that means they're pretty much dropping out the whole console race. So you know what that leaves? That leaves only PlayStation as the head of consoles now. So that means PlayStation will be the one to determine the pricing of their console and determine the pricing of when it comes to their games. So it makes me really curious. Yeah, exactly. Right, Flapjack. It's no more Xbox at that point, if that's the case. So if this does happen, this means that Sony is pretty much like the monopoly. Sure, you throw in Nintendo. Yeah, Nintendo still exists. But honestly, is Nintendo and PlayStation in the same category? Do you really consider them as rivals? we all know that they're not rivals. It's obvious that PlayStation is a whole different type of realm. It would be ridiculous to kind of match them up. Steve, what's up? Yes, yes. That isn't that a very interesting debacle there. Is this the price of it? Yes, it is. Isn't that insane? You can get a 9950 XG2, a motherboard, and plus RAM for $1,200. Now tell me how that makes sense. Yeah, you know, the funny thing, guys, is that for everyone that has Game Pass, for everyone that does have it, just to let you know that pricing is dropping. So it's funny you brought that out, actually, guys, out because the pricing for the Xbox Game Pass has dropped down for PC users to like about, I think it was like what, $13, like $5 off, because they decided to say they called it quits. They said enough Call of Duty. You're not performing nowhere near as good as we thought you were. It's like the Xbox Game Pass curse. As soon as something joins on there, it just does not perform well. And now it's like Call of Duty now is working on a movie, which is also insane. So something seems fishy, right? So Nintendo has a stronghold on its IPs. That's the only reason why they're still chugging along, because in order to play all these games, exactly. So if Nintendo has even had a even just a thought of just giving up their IP, man, they would be finished so fast. They would be gone. They would 100% not exist anymore. But Nintendo's smart, to be honest, because for them to hold on to their IPs, it's like a sure locked way for them to never ever go out of business because of it. As long as if you still have people that enjoy games such as Mario and Pokemon and all their exclusive games like Animal Crossing and Zelda. They have so many of their own exclusives here that that's what keeps them alive. So honestly, I want to. Oh, what's your build? What is your ideal build? Just out of curiosity. So while PlayStation's still competing with Nintendo and Nintendo games are too still, you know, you're right though. You are absolutely right. You know, the crazy thing is, like, you ever notice when you go to a store and like Best Buy or you go to Target and you go to any of these stores and they have these deals sometimes, like where you buy a game, you get 125% off, for example. And you're like, okay, great. Now's my chance to take advantage of it. And then as soon as you go into the store, whether it's Best Buy, whether if it's Target, when you go in there, they say, oh, this does not count. It does not count for Nintendo, but it counts only for PlayStation and Xbox. How many times have you heard that? Even PC, they'll allow, but they won't. But for Nintendo, they won't allow that. They won't allow any type of discounts. So that is absolutely true. Southstar says, I canceled my subscription once the annoyance at the price increase, and I saw the price went back down yesterday and then jumped back on Xbox Game Pass. Oh, really? So that made you hop back on. And it's very interesting how they think now. I guess they felt that because they bought out Activision and they thought, hey, we'll make the gamers pay, and it didn't really work out as well as they thought, I think. And especially how they must have been embarrassed, especially how Call of Duty performed within the last year. What's it on now? Black Ops 7, correct? So, and Black Ops 7 did not perform nearly as well as Black Ops 6 did. And Black Ops 6 was pretty rough as it is. So, um, Nintendo never met a lawyer. That is true. Nintendo is very good with their lawyers. I would love to get their list of lawyers there. So everything is very, yes. That's a good way to look at things. Could you rate? Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Feel free to send it over. For anyone that is on Discord, feel free to send it. Would certainly love it. If you're on Twitch, you can easily just type in the exclamation point and type Discord, and the Discord will actually pop up. You can click it and join it. It's free. Now, if you are a subscriber, please let me know. I will add you into the members roundtable. Also, and big shout out to Unreal. Thank you for also subscribing. Make sure you let me know. I think I'll double check the Discord. Make sure I got you on there, because that just reminded me too. I gotta check the members list over there. So, guess that's a PS5 controllers are the worst ever. Stick drift in 90 days for 30 days. What? Really? Has anybody had trouble with their DualSense controllers? Now, I gotta say the DualSense Edge was a great controller, but man, $200 is steep though for a controller. So Steve said, my desk was free. Got it from behind the garbage. Hey, I bet it's real wood. If it's real world wood, that is awesome. It has that will not shake. The biggest thing that can annoy anybody out there, like when it comes to something like a desk, is you get the wobble. You touch your desk and everything moves. That's so freaking annoying. So so have you noticed prices on PC? Yes. I feel like that they're purposely doing that to force people to purchase bundles. Because I mean you look at this. Now look at this. The RX 9070 XT Reaper, right? Is $729.99. Now originally you could get a lot of like any 9070 XT was pretty much easy to get, like around that $650 to $700 range. Now 650 is cutting it real close. That's if you get really lucky to get that deal. Most of the time you get $700, but you can see these small price increases. $730. Now, if you look at even the other GPUs, your typical GPUs, such as your NVIDIA cards here, they're also going to be priced way up there too. Again, 5000 series, of course, expensive. Some people just say, just don't get the 5000 series, just get a 4090 if you can, RTX 4090 if you're lucky. So Uncle Twinkle says he got an Intel i7 100s. Okay, so what I'll do for you, Uncle Twinkle, I will put up a poll for you and let everyone take a vote. So I will highlight it once again. Rate Uncle Twinkle's 1867 build. So I'm going to give them... This might look pretty crazy. So I'm just going to do 1 through 5, guys. So 5 will be the best, because otherwise it's going to look like an insane poll if I put it all the way up to 10. So I'm going to open up the poll. Feel free to vote. What do you feel about Uncle Twinkle's build here? So I will give it a, let's see. I'm going to give it a, man, this is going to be a bit rough. So definitely take it a 3. It sounds pretty fair. 3 is decent. A 6600X. Oh, you don't see the poll? It should be up. Do you guys see the poll? I'm going to put... Oh, I didn't mean 1. I'm sorry. I meant to put 2. Oh, the PC. You guys see the poll, right? It seems like Nora sees it. It's up on the top right-hand corner. Oh, you don't see the PC. Did he... Let's see. Did he put it on Discord? He didn't share it, I think. Share the PC, please, on Discord. And then we could take a look at it, too. So, yes. So, I'm going to highlight his build again. Yeah, I didn't... I'm going to highlight his build again. Here it is. There it is. You see it? So that's his build. Intel i7 10700KF, ASUS Z490, Ripjaw DDR4, 32 gigabytes at 3200 megahertz, AMD Radeon 6600 XT, and a Corsair 7 5080 Plus. For 1440p. What is the question in the poll? Rate Uncle Twinkle's 18 vote on his build. 1 for being the worst, 5 for being the best. So you just rate from 1 to 5. You just type it in and it will move the poll. And again, that is his build there. This PC is my first build and I'm still using it. Oh, really? Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's lasting you. It's doing great, right? It's neither high end or low end. 5. Ooh. How about Weenie, man? Much respect. Interesting. So I'll keep this poll up. Again, for anyone that's curious about this poll. Again, I'll share it once more for anyone that's curious. So Uncle Twinkle, feel free to share it onto Discord, your PC build. And I'll be happy to share it with everybody on stream. So okay. So most people feel it's pretty decent. Feels like it's fairly decent PC. My question is, what games have you been playing recently on it? He built it, so it's worth something. Nice. Love the way you think, Weenie. There's nothing like your own PC. Doesn't matter how you build it. Doesn't matter. It does not matter when it comes to cost. It's because it's your own build. It's worth something. So let's take a look at these pricing too when it comes to the GPU. While we have them figure that out. Again, join in onto the Discord. There you go. I'm still contemplating on upgrading from AM4 to DDR4 and DDR4 to Intel and inflate it. At this point, honestly, at this point, it's hard to say if we're gonna see DDR6 just like pop out of nowhere, which is a possibility. And you know what's interesting? I don't know if you guys are familiar with SOCAM and SOCAM 2, which is a type of memory, and that's something that they've been currently working on. And a lot of manufacturers have been like pretty much forced to produce it, which is pretty insane. I still like the 6600 XT. It's still a great gaming GPU on budget. So Escape from Tarkov, Far Cry 5, Dark Souls, it still works great, I bet. It's insane how companies are just allowed to purposely make product be defective typically after warranty ends. Yeah, that is true. My PS3 controllers went through hell, never had stick drift. Hell, neither did my PS4s. You know, you kind of remind me of the golden era here. And to me, the golden era is like back in the 360 days. Like, I literally had my 360 controller sitting in somewhere like in a place where it shouldn't be. And I had all kinds of things happen to it. And for some reason, never had issues with stick drift. But now, when you come to these newer controllers where they have these cheaper analog joysticks, it just seems that they end up just always having stick drift. Especially Nintendo here. We all know the Joy-Con drift as it is. And I've had my wife actually break the controller a few times, like when she's playing Super Smash Brothers. I copped the 32 gigabytes of GC. Oh, really? That's awesome. Was it CL30? Look up DDR4 versus DDR5 tests. I know it's not. I mean, like I tested even NVMEs, like the difference between PCI Express 4 and 5. And again, it's not going to be that much of a generational gap between the two. So I just use my controller to get my. I can't respect that. I'm definitely gonna join that Discord once I hop on my neither high end or. Okay, yeah, for sure. Join in, please do. I think Xbox controllers is the worst kind for. Oh, really? I'm talking about even the 360 controllers. Maybe I just never had issues with it, but man, I had that controller for years. I even sold it on eBay. I shouldn't have sold it. I should have just kept it. I love that controller. For controllers these days, they gotta have the gyro feature. Has anyone really used the gyro feature on PC though? That's my question. Have you used the gyro controller on PC? And there's certain games that I've never tried just playing. Never just tried playing by hand, right? By keyboard and mouse. Like games like Resident Evil. And man, it's so much better on keyboard and mouse. I was so wrong. I thought it was meant for a controller, that game, because I just naturally thought Resident Evil was on PlayStation. So ever since then, I just played Resident Evil on controller. And then once one of my buddies said, try keyboard and mouse, it's better. I tried it, and man, it is better. It's a lot better. I couldn't believe how much better it felt. I saw. Oh, really? That's pretty wild. Picked up a 264 gigabytes of DDR5 last year for 420. Oh yeah, can you imagine? You just picked up a valuable item there. Sony has made a nice penny for me from all the controllers I bought, mostly the colors and limited. Yeah, I do like, they're sick though. They are sick. Man, I got DualSense controllers and I got the DualSense Edge controller, and I never really get to use it. Never get to use it as much as I would want to. I would go with the 5700 XT with DDR3 RAM. Nice. It was a test. Oh, okay. I like the Fly Digivator 5 because it has adjustable tensions. So my biggest thing is like if anyone's looking for a great controller, the number thing you have to look for is either you have to look for TMR sticks. They're definitely the best ones to go with. Now the Fly Digi are great because you can adjust the thumbsticks. There's quite a few of them that you can do that where you can actually adjust it on the top. But if you want stick drift to completely be gone, TMR is the way. Same thing with or Hall effect sticks even. Hall effect sticks is like a generation before the TMR sticks, but they're both great. Controller on CS2 felt like my question is, Ken, did it actually have aim assist? Did it have aim assist when you were playing Counter Strike 2? Why the name and the rest of the message going from white to gray on the overlay? I have no idea. Oh, maybe it's because the background here. I've been meaning to adjust that too. So I'll shut that poll. Thank you everyone for joining in that poll there. I'm going to swap up. I gotta update this overlay a little bit. I gotta throw a background on there because it's kind of hard to see, right? Maybe I gotta throw some gray or something. I think the wording makes it a bit more difficult. Like, you take a look at this 5090, it's still $3,700, $3,900. Prices have not budged. But the good news is if you do purchase a brand new 50 series card, even the 5090, you can get Pragmata free. Has anyone played Pragmata? Real question, just out of curiosity there. I'm a PC noob, so just using the PS5 controller Resident Evil 9, I could not get used to keyboard and I get it. How'd you like it, Nor? What's your thoughts of Pragmata? I hear it's very interesting. Oh, is it? Yeah, so what's your thoughts of it? No, because I haven't bought them. Yes. Everyone who played Pragmata has a 5090. MSI keyboard 15 off micro. Oh, really? Oh, really? Off of Micro Center. It's really good. Runs great. Stories. I hear people are trying to trash the game all because of the whole because I don't know the character's name, but the girl in the game. I guess when she draws a picture, people are complaining because it was used with AI that she drew that picture. But honestly, is it that bad? Does it turn you off that bad off the game? Diana, okay, is it that bad that for example, Diana draws that picture? The girl is an angel. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Pad tracing is light in Resident Evil 9. Yeah, no, it runs great on it. I like the mechanics of the game. Maybe that's the game we'll end up you know what? We'll get Pragmata and then we'll test that on the 270K and we'll test it onto the 9950X3D2 once that gets built. Resident Evil 9 is what every game should be. Yes. It's amazing. You can run that thing on nothing. And you can run it on the hardest of all toughest hardware, such as a 5090. What about the big fire? What about the big fire? So she's or so oh okay. Hey, oh, I get it. Resident Evil 9 was better than Pragmata, but both were super good. I want to play the second round of Resident Evil 9 too. Resident Evil Requiem was a great game too. I had a lot of fun playing through it. Some journals are trying to say that if a single man plays it, then there is what? Tell me how that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, no, she's a cyborg, so that's pretty wild. I played Resident Evil 9 like 3 to 4 times. Oh man. Hey, uh Chris's fire is bad a lot. Oh, oh, terrible. You're talking about up north. Oh, that's terrible. Yes, I did hear about that, but I had no idea how serious the seriousness of it. Resident Evil 7. Oh, I was gonna say I'm running it on 5K, 2K with my 5080 a little bit. And how's it running? How's it, out of curiosity, how's it run on your little bit of DLSS and frame gen? How many frames are you getting about? I'm just telling you what. Yeah, oh, I believe it. I believe it. They got to make news for everything, everything. You know, Southstar. I was really thinking of it. You got the LG 39 inch, right? That's a sick monitor. Man, I'd pick that over. Honestly, if I could, I would pick that over the CPU, the 9950X3D2, because that's the majority of it right there. So hey, I pad traced on my Resident Evil 9 with my 5060 Ti. And still got. Oh, really? That's really impressive, actually. And that's what DLS, and I'm assuming with DLSS and frame gen, right? And that is sick.
At Sheritard 91 super chatted $2. I remember when Fragmenter was shown at PS5 reveal.
Oh, awesome. But yeah, you know what? Speaking of which, that does remind me of the showing of it, like the teaser of it. But that's awesome though. Now you guys are talking me into getting Pragmata, and definitely do like maybe some sort of stream over there, and we can test it on a 270 and the 9950 extra D2, just to see the difference. I'll try to run it on a similar GPU pretty much. But nah, they're gonna be on two different. One's gonna be on a 5070 Ti. It's kind of unfair. See, when I do tests like this, I like to try to keep it as same as possible when it comes to the motherboard. But we'll see. We'll see how it runs. Just out of curiosity. One's gonna be on a 99 on a the 9950 Extra D2 with the AMD with AMD's 90 9070 XT. Almost said 9700 because it makes too much sense. The 9070 XT, and then we're gonna test it on a 5070 Ti and a yeah, you know what? Maybe that is a fair trade-off. Actually, that kind of makes sense to think of it because doesn't it? If you really think about it, what if you purchased a CPU that's more? For example, like the 9950 X3D2 combined with a 9070 XT, and then versus a system where you spend a little bit more on the GPU, such as a 270K, the 270K CPU, which is cheaper, and then you purchase a little bit more GPU power, so you get a 5070 Ti. Maybe it makes it, maybe it's pretty much a fair matchup in that sense. What do you guys think? So, Nora says I was playing on preset L and 3 times frame generation myself. I was capped at 236. I could have easily run less frame generation at higher preset. Right now, right now Nvidia GPU on Linux is, yeah, that is true. That is true. I made a meme about that actually a bit, which I want to show you guys. It's pretty funny, I think, at least. More GPU for sure, since you can run more frame generation. 270K for me, but I will wait for Nova Lake. I think it's gonna be real. Hey, I think it's gonna be awesome too. 50. Who's gonna aim for the 52 core monster on Crestmont? That's quite insane. But Linux likes AMD. They do. They do. Jerry, what's up? Just hopped in and got scared. Yeah, I think a lot of people did. Just a question, Jerry. Have you seen the controversy about the 9950 Extra D2? Have you seen that same controversy about samples? And did you attempt to try to reach out to AMD and obtain a sample? Just out of curiosity. So so I'm gonna go over here on my Twitter feed here, which I think it's gonna be pretty funny. And I'll show you right now. My good friends over at PC Master Race here. We're going to go down right here. Let's see. It was this one here. So it's kind of like this, right? Kind of like this. That feeling, right? When you get Linux and Steam and then Windows together. I did not reach it. I don't think I would. I did reach out and I couldn't get it from them. But luckily, we were able to use some other sources to be able to reach out. So I made this meme out of it because I feel it's true. At this point, Windows wants to get us to this point, right? So it's just like pretty much like this. So now Windows just keeps updating to the point where you're like, are you sure you want to install Linux? Right? Ew, AI, lol. this this I actually use Photoshop. Oh, Grok. You mean the Grok. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the meme I made. But that's at the point where Windows. Why does my name have to hover over that pit? I'm. That's funny. But doesn't it feel like that though? It's like at this point, Windows just keeps updating to the point where it just forces you and wants you to just update, or even consider it an upgrade when you go to Linux at that point. But the wild part is, again, like when it comes to this whole 9950X3D2, um, I feel very conflicted about it, and I can't wait to show you guys. I'll definitely let the members know, like once it arrives. I will personally let you guys know. And I got some interesting stuff to bring up to it too. And I'm gonna make a little short about that, about this thermal paste that came in, which I'm excited to share with you guys. But Linux does not have support for AMD GPUs out of the box. No drivers needed. Um, yeah, that is true. You just have to update the kernel. That's it. You just have to update kernels. AMD provides open source drivers to Linux devs. And that's the one thing you can't do with NVIDIA. Everything's not open source with them. I know for them, they kind of have to kind of reverse engineer everything when it comes to it. But yeah, the pricing again when it comes to it, if you are thinking of a 9950 X3D2, they do have it available here at $899, and it seems like it's easily available to the point where you can end up getting it. That it's not as short as we thought it was. Maybe it's the whole idea of like, hey, like we're AMD. It's our top X3D processor here. I 100% think it's this too. That they can't afford. That's a that's like their bread and butter there. Is like their CUDA cores. So if that's like suicide, it's a big waster but real performer. It's a big money waster. But it is available, so you can get it. It does have Radeon graphics on it. So it does make me a bit curious to see how it's going to perform into the motherboard in this PC build we have together. So if you guys are curious about that, it is going to come up. And of course, I will update you guys. In fact, let me see where it's at tracking wise. I'll check right now. Let's see. Right here. Okay, so it says, okay, so just to show you guys, to update you guys from what I see here, this is what it's saying, that it's saying the delivery dates will be here by Saturday. But we'll see if that's true. See if it really gets here Saturday. If it gets here Saturday, then we can do that PC build over the weekend for sure. The price will stay since it's new. Why not the 9900X charge card? Interesting. Maybe he's looking just to run, because the 9700X actually runs games really well. I was even happy with the 9600X. When last year we did the Sapphire and 9070 XT, and when we did that build, it actually performed phenomenally. Best price is the 7800. Oh, really? So that's definitely the best price. Interesting. That is interesting. Um, let's see. So if you compare the price, 9700, right? 9700X, you can get it for 265. As of now, you can get it for 265 for the 9700X and the 7800. 9850. Let's see. 7800. They only have the X3D now, which is going to be 385. So actually, the 9700X would probably be the better. Oh, here it is. No, 9700X. Yeah, 289. That seems like to be the better option. They also have the 9600X as well. Again, like that's something we tested. That's true. And then if you are interested in doing things like content, you have a bit more flexibility in the standard X. I have a problem buying a $900 or even $500 CPU for. You can do that with a $200 or $300 CPU. I get it. 100% get that. It makes absolutely no sense. Best place for the 140 millimeter TL Lian Li. Okay, so that's up to you. Depends. I'm assuming you're trying to put it onto your cooler here, onto your CPU. 140 millimeter TL. You're talking about like that's a smaller fan. Since the 9850 have higher base frequency and decent boost, not bad. I can't find many. Yeah, I wouldn't think so. You probably have better luck finding a 240 before a 140. 240 would be the way to go if you're to go to the minimalistic side. And pretty soon, again, like, can you imagine they just start bringing out the whole 5800 X3D once again, 10th year anniversary edition? And let me go here. Let's go here to my page here. As this is what I was talking about here. Consumer chips reportedly climbed around 5 to 10% since March. Server CPUs are getting hit harder. That's obvious, as more increases could still be coming later this year, which hopefully not. Let's hope that remains down. Of course, we don't want to see this. G6 is also going up, but yeah, it just seems like everything is not going great. I play games at 1440p to 4K with my 5800 XT. That's impressive. That's actually really impressive. Because, it shows you how long a generation of a PC can truly last. Because before, many moons ago, when you built a PC, it would typically last you maybe 5 years. Now I can see PCs easily lasting up to, like, if you really push it and you honestly kept up to date with the hardware, you could really push it up to 7 years easily, 8 years easily. Yeah, right now it is. I'm trying to find like some positive news for everybody out there. So of course you got DLSS. This is an interesting news that I got to share with you guys too. Just the fact that Intel is going to bring some overclocking even to budget SKUs. So they're not looking to, like, for everyone just to get like only the K variants, but everything will be overclockable according to, if it comes to that. The used market is the only positive that you'll find. That's funny. That's a sad way to look at things. Let's hope that's not the case. I mean, I think a lot of people's had luck looking onto Facebook Marketplace or into Craigslist, like when it comes to hardware. And then, of course, you can spot out scalpers from a mile away. Yes, I get that too. It's frustrating. I can't imagine how frustrating it is, especially for those who want to build a PC. Just imagine those who are trying to, like, have a PC. Those who have always dreamed of it, like always thought about switching over from console to PC. I'm sure there's quite a few people out there that are probably just even watching this and like are thinking the same thing. Like, man, I wish I could get a PC right now. And unfortunately, uh, a lot of things are happening. And one thing I get a question for everybody out there, just out of curiosity, and this has been talked amongst like in the creator side, and I got to ask you guys this because I think this is actually a very interesting subject, and the subject I do want to bring up to you guys is the fact that when it comes to content creation, when it comes to whether if it's just like my channel or anybody else's channel. Now, when you go into like Google and you look up a how-to guide, for example, you look up a guide for say flashing back a BIOS, regardless if it's me or someone else that has created content. The biggest issue that I think a lot of us creators are looking at now, when it comes to the whole AI side of things, is the fact that when you Google search something, that you actually have Google Gemini that pretty much tells you the basis of the video. Now, some people do like the convenience of it. I get it because you get to the key points that you're looking for flashing the BIOS, for example. Now, it'll break down each step, and then it will even explain like in detail about what the video is about. Now, of course, it may not be always 100% accurate, but some people fear, especially those who, again, create content, worry about their channels in that sense. So, for everyone who does view or watch content, what is your opinion of that? Or do you still are willing to watch? Exactly. That's right, Jerry. Or do you guys still want to see the video? For example, they come out with that Flash BIOS video, for example, and you watch it or you watch that brief summary and you're like, okay, I think I know how to do it. But then they could fail to say, like, hey, warning, uh, just don't do this. Like, it can skip a small note that can be detrimental to flashing the BIOS. And that can happen too. So, Jerry says a lot of people are visual learners. I agree. And you know, the funny thing is just the other day, um, even though you have AI, you have the access to AI, I truly believe that there is some sort of fatigue as well when it comes to using AI. I'm sure people don't really like using it as much as they once did. I think everybody was infatuated with AI at first because you thought, man, this is really dope. This is awesome. You can pretty much type in any question, and I don't even have to look per article to find my answer. But then you get to the point where you're like, you're kind of fatigued. And then you begin not truly trusting the information that AI can give you. So Weenie says never used it. I can I can understand why. I can understand why there's people that would refuse to use it. Absolutely, because it again it can take away, it can make you forget in a sense of the most basic things as a human. That's an interesting way to put it. So what do you guys think of it? Like, I'm gonna throw a poll up there and ask about like I'm gonna ask, what is your thoughts? Do you use AI frequently? So you can answer just yes or no, and I'll throw that poll up there. And you guys let me know what you think about it. If that is your thing, if you use AI. Let me put this poll somewhere on the vertical side. I apologize about that. So, two, no. So, I personally need to see a video, but I think others would trust that AI more. I wouldn't use it as much as I did months ago. It feels ick. I see. Um, you know what I noticed too? Sometimes, like when you type things into AI, and you try to you pretty much try to get a summary of something, but then it kind of feels repeated, almost like you already know what AI is going to say. um, Easiest way I can explain is there's certain verbiage and certain ways in the language the AI speaks, you know that it's going to say certain words. For example, if you're asking a question, it's going to say something like, you're certainly right. Um, like for example, if you said, "Hey AI, is the 9950 XDD2 the best CPU and the fastest gaming CPU that's out there?" And it may pull the information off of some websites that are not necessarily true, off of forums, just say, and then all of a sudden it says that yes, it's the best thing ever. It's the best CPU based off of biased information and just off information that it pulls off the internet. And then you say, no, that's not true because it seems that it's getting these type of numbers. Then you start to, and then it'll start saying like, you're absolutely right, that it's impossible for it to pull this number. So let me look for the next source and see what I can find for you. Would you like to know more about, say, the 9950X3D2? So it's almost predictable in a sense when it comes to AI in that sense. So I know it's coming and it will be part of life at some point, but it's dreading it. So that just means they used you as a reference. Yeah, and that's absolutely that's the case. So if you're already going down a train of thoughts, that AI will typically support you regardless if it's right or not. Yeah, and that's it doesn't matter if you say you're right or you're wrong. It just follows everything you say. Even if you're trying to get something opinion based, it will never truly give a based opinion. I use Comfy UI for visual effects work. So for a task for rotoscaping and matte painting, I use Llama for coding. I like Llama though. Llama's not bad. Because Llama's more of your local AI type of thing. So if anyone has thought about using it, like say for something like I always wanted to use it more for something like network attached systems because I think that would be useful in that sense. Oh, really? The other day, speaking of websites, I did get an email from the web host that I usually use, and they said we have a new website builder. It's fully integrated with AI, and you should try it out. But in my mind, I was thinking, well, my website works perfectly fine. I don't need to try it out. Why would I have to? Why do you want me to build something that isn't based off of my own coding? uh, but Fanman, guys, I certainly do appreciate the time for everybody joining in. I hope to see you guys Saturday. I will definitely update you guys with the 9950 X3D2 coming in. If you're not part of the wonderful fan band, make sure to join in, subscribe. Don't forget to like the channel. I hope to really see you upcoming on Saturday, as I usually stream at 10 o'clock, starting for the members and subscribers, and 10:30 for everybody to the open public. So thank you, Z-Man. Thank you, Gas Out. I especially thank Weenie, one of our hardcore techies over here. Jerry, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you, Steve. I appreciate you, Ken. Gas Out. I appreciate Wasabi for coming in. Noor, Steve, Unreal. I thank all you guys for also being part of this wonderful part. Charizard especially. And Nellis, Destiny, thank all of you guys. And hopefully I see you guys on Saturday. And if you guys want, please let me know. Feel free to send me send a message in Discord and let me know what you would like to see upcoming on stream, especially for a 270K plus and for a 9950X3D2. Would certainly love to let you guys know. Thank you for subscribing, Chris. I appreciate you all, and everybody out there, have a awesome and wonderful night, and see you on Saturday. Yeah, it's insane, right, Steve? Makes no sense. 3 times more. But again, we 5090 only. That's unfortunately hooked up to the 9800 X3D, but we'll talk soon, guys. Looking forward to this wonderful Saturday. Take care and have a great, awesome